Hello, and welcome back to the Random Horror Show. I am your horror podcast host, is Keisha Lacey. How's it going? And thank you for listening to this podcast coming straight up out of the Iron Pine Curtain of East Texas. And of course, here at the Random Horror Show, where we film commentate, being random, silly, going off tangents, but coming back to the main idea like a term paper, which you learn in English. Y'all started writing in high school how to do papers and stuff. With horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure in television, movie, and books. Thank you to my OG listeners. Thank you all for riding dive with me on this train wreck of a podcast that I have been doing for a good while. Love it, love it, love it. And for those who are very curious about what definitely is the Random Horror Show, we'll go ahead and click on those links. Pick out your favorite podcast of what you want to hear, and just hear me being just goofy, just goofy. Anyways, there is so many questions and answers and confusion, but we're going to be talking about Raised by Wolves. This is the second season. This is actually the season finale of Raised by Wolves, episode 8 or 9. It's one of the two, 8 or 9, I can't remember. It's titled Happiness. Now, last week we had Hunter, who went in. You get the name Hunter, who went in and shot the subterranean, de-evolved, I guess you call monster, whatever, that grabbed Tempest baby. And I know last week when I spoke about it, I was just like, oh, that's, but I kind of like thought about it like afterwards, and I was like, Tempest was like flip-flopping. Um, it was a lot of like stuff. I just thought it just dawned on me after I did the podcast. Like how she just flip-flopped and stuff. And then of course, like father, he was just kind of like, I wanna like kill the thing, but I'm gonna have to uh go on with Tempest what she says. But just to wrap it up with the season finale, Lamnia, or Mother, we know she was a necromancer on Earth. Um, we have grandmother. Oh my gosh, I knew this shit was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen because couple of episodes back, Mother was not pleased that Father found this android that he put his fuel blood, and of course he got plenty of fuel blood to reanimate this android. And we know this android she's very old, she's ancient, and has like a lot of history with the Mithraic, the people that were on Kepler 22. But grandmother, there is a lot of things about grandmother. Grandmother, she really set Mother up. She literally set Mother up in this episode. Not to give you too many spoilers about what is happening with this episode, the season finale, but when Father named her grandmother, how I'm taking care of my grandmother at the moment. Um, we look at grandmother as like a very wise, solvent, elderly woman that have like seen so much, in her lifetime. She has lots of wisdom. She has like this very like just she's just very loving and things like that. And when we associate the word grandmother, people just have like these warm and fuzzy feelings. But there are some people who hear grandmother, they have like, sometimes they have not so good memories of their grandmother. Um, Grandmother is like the big bad wolf. And of course, this like also, um, with the title Raised by Wolves. And of course, like in Greek mythology of Romulus and Remus, who were raised by a she wolf. We know that story right there. But now it had like me like thinking of a grandmother, like in, I just did the Brothers Grimm, and of course like the Grimm story of Little Red Riding Hood. And there was like some clues and everything, especially with the veil. All right, so we all know the whole story of Little Red Riding Hood. She's in the woods going to grandmother's house. She's happy to visit her grandmother, and then of course the big bad wolf is following her and everything else. And so he sees that she's going to grandmother's house. So guess what? He goes to grandmother's house before she gets there. He eats grandmother and he puts on grandmother's wig, things like that, to pretend to be Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother, because the big bad wolf is, pretending to be grandmother to like conceal his real identity and his sinister plans to like murder and eat Little Red Riding Hood. Now this like has like a fable of like Little Red Riding Hood in this episode of Happiness. We see like how it unfolds, especially particularly with the veil. The veil does have like red in it, like with the programming that grandmother is wearing. And so if you like think about like Little Red Riding Hood, the big bad wolf, how he conceals his identity as like pretending to be grandmother, it has like those elements of like the tale. And I was just like, sweet Jesus, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is like giving me Little Red Riding Hood vibes with this. Um, and of course, the veil was to me was like a protection or a concealment on grandmother, because when grandmother took off the veil and she gave it to Lamnia, or mother as they call her, she has this look. I mean, by the way, the woman who plays grandmother, she is so fucking hot. She is beautiful. God dang. I seen her haircut and I was like, I want to cut my hair like that again. But she's beautiful. But she wears that veil to conceal all the emotions. And it's for her to like, okay, these are human beings, and I'm not like Lamnia, because Lamnia has like a lot of emotions as an android. I mean, she has like a serpent child. Her caregiving programming is to protect the children. Of course, you can watch season 1. The reason why she's like that and everything is because Campion Sturgis, who caught her and reprogrammed her, because Campion Sturgis believed that like he must do something in order to preserve like humanity and human life, because he's seen that how the war was not only affecting the atheists but also the Mithraic. He was just like doing his like part of like in the name of science, and because he was a atheist, to preserve human life. And that's the reason why they landed on the planet. And it was like also giving me Soylent Green. It was giving me Soylent Green. Soylent Green is this movie with Charleston Heston. This is like a dystopian. Especially with the Soylent Green. tablets that they were feeding the overcrowdedness in New York City, because a lot of things have changed within the world. Excuse me, the greenhouse effect have like affected the planet. There was just like a lot of civil unrest there. There was like this special little green tablet, people ate because it was a food shortage. And when there's like these, it was the mystery about like the seed. So like the seed is actually this, it's alien. So like when it hits like skin or whatever, or something organic, there was like that scene where father took the little small Mithraic tablets, and he let the children look and see, like, hey, guess what? This is not going to be pleasant for y'all, and I hate to do this, but y'all need to know the truth about what is really going on. Y'all keep hearing soul and soul this and soul that. And so he shows them that this seed, that's what happened to Sue when she turned into the tree, that they patted and they were worshipped, you know, the people that was like on the planet before, the whole, they went to Earth, is that the tree is actually like a beacon. It's people, but it needs like an organic host for it to turn into a tree so it can be connected to the core, because now we know the whole planet is like this alien entity that tries to reach any being that's like on the surface. And so the planet is definitely alive. That's the reason why it has like so many mysteries about it. And when the children seen it, they were like really distraught. But the littlest one, she didn't even, they shooed her away because, they felt that she was young, too young to like understand what was going on about the seeds. And I looked at it as like, they were like, look, y'all sit there and talking about old soul, y'all Mithric and praise soul and shit like that, but like this is like the real deal Holyfield of what the hell this is. So you got to remember, like, all the trees that has like that funny shape, look and everything, not only in the tropical zone, but also on the other side of the planet. Those are actually people. Soylent Green trees on the planet Kepler are people. And so you think about it, they have been eating the fruit. In season one, they was eating the fruit off these trees that they found, when they first landed and everything. And then you had like majority of the children that they brought, they were poisoned by it and everything. Somehow Campion, he was just resistant to it. Also, another Easter egg is what I looked at is the small child that was with them. I forgot her name. The littlest one. And if y'all remember, in the first season of Raised by Wolves, there was like a child exactly kind of like resemblance of this little girl, that is, from the Mithraic ship. And we know that little girl, she fell inside the hole, which, the big, the crater holes like inside the planet. And we we see that again. It's like deja vu with this. It's like this is already starting again. And I don't understand why mother and like father did not catch that, because one of the children that they brought, the embryos that they brought off of Earth and landed in on Kepler 22, it was a small Asian girl. And like then you have this little Asian girl that was off the Mithraic Ark ship, resembling a lot like her. And so she has that curious nature. She's like very curious about a lot of things. She's very innocent. She doesn't know a lot. That's what's going on, like in reality wise, because it's in the way it's like she's keeping that innocence. I feel that like the show with this little girl is like having that that innocence, that nuanced innocence of with her, as the same that we seen some like in the first season with the other embryo that mother and father was caring for, but she fell inside of the crater. Now we don't know where is she landed inside, or she got turned, or she died. We just know she's deceased. That's all we gotta know about that. But another thing is that I can't believe this because like Marcus is actually concerned about Mother. Now Mother did put on the veil to destroy her serpent child, which is the seventh child. The veil actually helped her to destroy it because she has so many emotional feelings as the mother to the serpent child until the serpent ate the tree, which was the Sue tree, and it was weaponized and it became like a necromancer. Necromancer, I'm your necromancer. So she destroys, her seventh child with the veil on when she turned into her necromancing self. But with that being said, not only she destroyed her seventh child, but she destroyed half of that force field around the planet. Now, this is causing some atmospheric and environmental changes on the planet, especially um, in the tropical zone. And we know tropical zone is like all nice and warm. It's like sitting on a beach and everything. It's like but you can't jump into water because you just get towed the fuck up by some acid and everything. But it changes the atmosphere and the weather conditions. Now it's snowing. Interesting is that right there. Um, and we also know that Campion has some very, very mixed emotions about Mother because Mother had to destroy seven, her child, the number seven, the child. And of course, Viral she's gone. Viral is the android that, of course, that episode where she really like murked everybody. Um, she was just wanting to be accepted. Campion was like, that's my boo thing. I mean, he knows that she's an android, but then he had so many like cute like little like high school feelings for her because he fell in love with her. He really loved Viral, but she passed away because of the serpents. In last episode, the serpents you know sonic boom energy, with the scream and everything, has literally like shut down all her programming. And what she did is that the real Viral, who had all these diary writings and things like that, what her mother was telling her from the real Viral, the human one, she remembers those in her memory banks. And so she takes like, and she just scribbles like everything, in her type of language, because she's android and stuff, to like carry that pieces of like that part of the real Viral, the human one that has passed away, and to Campion. And it was really sad and stuff because Campion was like, man, my boo gone. He buried her, in honor and everything. He took the piece of like of what she wrote down on the tree bark and took it with him like a scribe, like a scroll and stuff. And Paul and like Marcus are very, very sad, it's like you see that letdown from last episode of where they were so let down because now they're like, we don't believe in soul anymore. And it was a big huge letdown for both of them. And they just can't find that peace within themselves because they lost Sue. And so, Marcus is like, you know what? I'm going to do some things and everything else. And you know what? We're going to get this taken care of. And I'm going to be back for a moment and I'm going to take a break and we're going to hear from our sponsor from Anchor FM. Welcome back to the Random Horror Show as we are talking about the final season finale episode of Raised by Wolves, titled Episode Happiness. And we are just like, I wouldn't say the season finale was just like, it does. It does. It was part cliffhanger and part there's some things explained, but then of course they saying there's gonna be a season three. I cannot wait because it was very very um you know it was some of the stuff that was like leading up to it. There was like clues and everything that you can figure out on your own. But just recapping, the whole episode. And of course, I'm going to be talking about a couple of things. Just not trying to, be spoilery with this. Um, but I know I was talking earlier about talking about Campion's feelings about Mother and how he felt so deceived by her. And this is like posing the whole question about androids lying. Now we know people lie. It's human nature for us to be lying and shit to like to protect a loved one, a child, your ass or something like that. But you have these androids on here. It's like fucking Juicy Smollett. I'm like, damn, you tell a lie, I call your ass Juicy Smollett. You just a juicy. Jussie, Juicy, whatever that motherfucker name is and everything. By the way, he's serving up 3 months in jail for that bullshit that he pulled up there in Chicago with that whole ass shit. Uh, Anybody lie to me, and I can tell when somebody lie to me, your ass is a Juicy Smollett. Juicy Smollett. That's what I don't call people no liars. Call their ass Juicy Smollett. So you had, I mean, it's like, cause he was like, damn, my mama lied to me. Campion feeling some type of way and stuff. I mean, even when she mother has the veil and he was like, real, she was wonderful, that's a chick. Yeah, she android just like you, but I loved her like that. And she was just like, I don't know why you loving an android. It ain't nothing but nuts and bolts and programming. Like, how can you love something so artificial? And that just like really broke Campion's heart whenever Mother said that. And and it does, like, we know the androids from Alien. You have David, for Prometheus, how he lied a lot through that. And I mean, he was a Jussie Smollett and shit, you know what I'm saying? Especially for his self-interest. He lied. And this, like, I noticed this thing about Ridley Scott. Whenever he writes his characters, especially his androids, they do lie. And if you gotta think about it, it's like, are they picking up human characteristics when they're around humans? Because androids are supposed to just be about like protocol, not have like human emotions. They can have like human characteristics, not really particularly, but it's more of like, we got to take care of this shit, taking care of business. There ain't no like self doubts and things like that. What a human has, there's no type of flaw in like androids. But like really Scott's androids, they just they just be motherfucking Juicy Smollets and shit, you know what I'm saying? They talking about for the greater good and stuff, but actually they be doing some old fucked up ass shit just like the humans. And so like you have like the question like, damn, can I trust Android? And it's been like that for so long, ever since uh Alien came out, is that we all know about like all the movies. You have like these androids, and the programming, yada yada yada, sentient being, yada yada yada, and all that shit. But really, uh you see more of really Scott, the way how he writes androids. They can be some evil motherfuckers out there. And that's the reason why you have this mistrust, uh between like Mother and Marcus. And Marcus is not like android friendly. He doesn't give a shit about them. To him, they just look like a carbon copy of a human person and stuff. And so, but I seen that like how Marcus he was really concerned about Mother, but also fearful, because when he seen her don the veil, and he was just like, I don't know about this shit right here, because either she's gonna be more powerful, or she's gonna be turned to she's gonna lose something. So he has like these mixed emotions about Mother. He is concerned about her, but he's also worried about that. What if she becomes more powerful and more weaponized than ever? And you actually do see a little bit of like how Marcus softened up for Mother when she has the veil, because now he was like, shoot, I don't know about this right here. He was really really concerned. I mean, even when she was asking him questions, because one of the janitors, he got knocked out. I didn't even know they had janitors and shit. I was like, what? They have janitors? I was like, I shit you not, they have janitors. Well, somebody was like on guard and knocked him out. We know it is Lucius, and Lucius is another um, villain in this show. We remember Lucius like in last season, where he is a very strongly, like, in faith of the Mithraic, and follower of soul. And he has like this rage, angry boner against Marcus, because he found out who Marcus was, and then all of a sudden he's the prophet, and Lucius is like biding his time to like, yeah, I'm gonna like really, 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 kill Marcus, because Father did give him the okay to do that when they were out hunting for Holly, because Holly ran off with Marcus and the excuse me, and the escape Mithraic that they had. And let me give me a drink of water. Mm. So Lucius actually had his chance. Um, Another thing about this is that Marcus was caught by Lucius. There was like a very symbolic of like Jesus, on the cross, but this time this is actually Marcus. He is on a part of, I'm not gonna say, of this tree. You gotta watch it, and he was upside down. Now we know the crucifixion of like Jesus was up, but then like in Hollywood movies, especially when it deals like with black magic and demon magic, there's like particularly there was like on Constantine, where you find out that the demons have a Bible, and you have the upside down of cross and of Christ, excuse me, and then Marcus is upside down in a crucifix position. And Lucius is definitely persecuting Marcus, because he was like, he felt like he was Ice-T off of Ricochet. He was talking to John Lithgow. You think you got the power, bring your punk ass to the tower. And Lucius was like, I am the prophet, you ain't, bitch. I believe in soul. You don't. You was just playing. You are like a disgrace and everything. And Marcus was basically telling Lucius, like, look, man, this soul shit that we have been believing in so much. Yeah, I was an atheist, and then I heard the voice, and then I thought I was the prophet, and then I seen what really, what's this all about, and it is scary as hell. It is something that we don't understand. He was like, Marcus was like, look, man, you don't get it. Like, this is something way beyond our comprehension. But Lucius was just so filled with like hatred towards Marcus, and he was like really like, yeah, I'm gonna be like the the main Damie, the right hand of soul and stuff. And so he did. He with Marcus and everything. And like I thought that was like very symbolic and stuff with that. And of course, I'm not gonna, like I said, we're not getting too spoily with it, but it was very interesting of what was going on with Marcus and Lucius interaction, especially with Soul, and how Marcus felt that like he was trying to warn him that this is not real. Like this shit right here, we have been deceived. Speaking on that and everything, there is like a new rise of a deity, of a god, which is Lamnia, mother and everything. There was a young girl, because of the tropic zone turning into, it's like it's snowing like Christmas, looking like winter white like Wonderland. They're getting coats and stuff. They have not experienced like this type of weather. This is like all new to them. They're like, damn, it was like nice and hot and breezy and shit, like we're in the Bahamas or something. We don't have Bahama mamas with us and everything. But now they're like getting coats, and they're just like, oh my gosh, it's chilly up in this bitch. And it was a little girl. She there was like these symbolic, like like Jesus, like a cross, like of mother, like when she's in her necromancing, you know, uh, position and everything. And she went up to the lady that has like all these things, these trinkets and stuff that they bought her, and she's like, hey, I don't need no relics or whatever. But the little girl explained it. She's like, this is Lamnia, the serpent killer. This is their god now, because it gave like the people, not only just the Mithraic but also the atheists and stuff, of something to believe in. And because of mother's seventh child being weaponized, and they're like, so fearful. You could sense this, like it's like a story out of the Bible with this. And um and it and it's, and it's in a way, it gives these people hope that you had mother, which they wasn't particularly like fond of. She shut down the trust. She put veil on that grandmother gave her. She literally had to shut down her emotions about her seventh child to uh you know destroy her child. And now they look up to mother as like this savior, for both sides of the spectrum of this and everything. Is that she saved us. She made sure that she protected us. She watched us and things like that. She made sure that none of us is, not going to be eaten by this like serpent child, which they did not know that was mother's child, you know. So she kept that. And of course, grandmother comes, and she has these little games and stuff for the people, and that is a clue right there, to what is going to be happening in season 3, because there is some some biological changes that's starting up, especially with the children in Campion. And that's something that is like really, really is going to be very, very explosive, and especially the interaction between grandmother and Lamnia or mother, because honey, it's going to be some real deal shit next season. Mother is incapacitated right now because grandmother has tricked uh mother, and it was very, there is some clues in this, some Easter eggs, some clues and stuff in this episode that you just like, okay, oh shit, oh shit. I mean, grandmother just like smooth as hell, just just God, there was some skepticism about like grandmother, but she put on that act and everything, that she was just going to take care of the children, and that she was a shepherd, and to make sure that human beings are well preserved, and carry on, their like precious, lifespan, and blah blah blah. She was like, I mean, I'm telling you, this motherfucker was selling wolf tickets hard. Selling wolf tickets hard. I mean, even father is so confused because, in a way, he's like, man, I created grandmother. But he's still on the fence about her, but he's just like taking it as in strides, one day at a time, with grandmother. And he still has like those feelings because the way how mother is, like how much she lied to him, how much, like in the first season, she did get upset with him and, kind of killed him and shit and everything. He with grandmother, it's like, ooh, girl, hey, girl, but I'm still a part of with mother. I'm not going to abandon her. And then, of course, it caused panic and everything because now mother is missing, but they don't know what happened because, grandmother and mother had some damn words. It was like, oh shit. It's like the crazy baddie ass, like bitchy bitch mother-in-law. Coming, coming to wreck shit, run shit, tell you ain't doing this right and everything else. But yeah, grandmother does have some really, really, really sinister plans. Just not for, just for the children. It is for like everybody on that planet, and that is like the underlying horror. I mean, like I said, the underlying horror about how androids, you know, who do sneaky bullcrap, acting like they Juicy Smollett and shit, you know, and everybody is like, oh, okay, hey, how you doing, Miss Lady, Miss Grandmother and stuff like that. And they're still having their doubts about this. I mean, even Tempest. I mean, as much as like, how the children felt about Mother, and they seen what she can do. They see how she acted and things like that. Even Tempest, she was like, "Ooh, it feels like we're betraying Mother." And Tempest, like, because of Tempest of when she had her child, and she feels like she doesn't really feel that sense of like so-called motherhood, but she still has like that instinct of it. That's the reason why she's very confused about it, because it's by her rapist, and She's like, oh, I gave life, but I'm still like on the fence about raising this child. But I see that Hunter actually took a step up, because I see Hunter more with the child than Tempest. To For Hunter, is he is he's more logical. He is hot-headed. He is hard-headed as hell and very stubborn. But you see like more of a softer side with Hunter, because he shot the creature that was nursing her child, and he's just like slowly like just taking this fatherly, you know just a fatherly just thing with but Tempest, even though it's not his child, but he still uh believes in preserving life. He still believes that every life is beautiful. Even though Tempest is still like on the fence, I don't know. Is he as my child? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I just say it like this. That's some postpartum depression right there. But in a way, like Hunter is really trying to help Tempest out, and he's doing the best he can with by her and by the child. And he just and I think just from him just being around father a lot, um he like Hunter made that choice to like set himself as like a father to Tempest's child. And I was like, well, damn, that's pretty noble of him to like step into that role. Because he just knows. I mean, he just knows that it's a helpless being. You know, he knows that like Tempest is really dealing with a lot of shit. And even when the baby was starting to de-evolve because of suckling on the milk of the monster. I wouldn't call it monster, the dehumanized sea creature. um he sit there and just looked, and he was like, all right, we're gonna hook it up, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that the baby is all right. I mean, he is literally like doing this just out of like an unconditional love for this child. But does that make like Tempest a bad person? No, it doesn't. Because like it's a lot of times you do have people that just don't connect to their child. She connects, but she can't connect because of this, and that's the reason why it is like pretty much a touchy subject, especially, I'm looking at you, Texas, with your laws that you passed on September the 1st, 2021. We're not going to get a little bit political and everything, but I am a little bit, I wouldn't say a little, more with that bill that they passed. Um, it is something near and dear to my heart, and things like that. And I really don't agree with that bill that just passed back in September. But I'm looking at you, Texas. You're gonna have some damn problems later on down the road. I'm just gonna say you're gonna have some fucking problems down the road. But enough of that right there. But I mean, it's understandable how Tempest feels about it, and it is. It's a very touchy thing, especially with the situation that Tempest has been through. And of course, Hunter, he puts himself in that position because he chose to do that, not just because, like, I guess I'm gonna do it. No, he chose to do that, to put himself in that fatherly role for Tempest's child, her daughter. And it is because, like, a big, huge influence from father. Uh, that's the reason why he's operating like that. And I was like, oh, I mean, that was, and that's pretty interesting. How Hunter's character of what we seen last season, and he has, he still has that hot-headed, hot temper, just a smart ass of everything. But we see more of um a very stern leader, kind of like a fatherly role that he decides and make that choice to take. And I'm just gonna say it like this: it is very important for men to be in their sons' lives as well as daughters too. But in a way, how could I put it like this? Um, Hunter is now becoming a responsible man, and that ain't even his baby right there. He said, "I'm the pappy. I'm the step pappy. I'm the pappy of that baby." That's what I'm saying. I'm the pappy. Oh my gosh. I can have a hoot and a half and a nanny with this and everything. But we're gonna go ahead and like wrap this up. But I actually listened to the intro music to Raised by Wolves, and listening to the lyrics, and usually I just like skip it. And then I was like, you know what? Let me listen to the lyrics of this intro. And I mean, I heard it a few times, and I was like, oh, skip, 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 like that. And I said, you know what? These lyrics actually make sense. It's bringing, it's telling you like what's actually gonna be going on and what's gonna happen. I said, holy cow. I was like, I don't even know why I like sit there and just totally ignore the lyrics and stuff. And I say, well, I be down. Shit. It was telling you right there, what's going on. I mean, but then it also like, I can't wait for season three, but it also within those lyrics, I feel like what it was saying is that something like this have happened before. It's happening again. It's a cycle, and it's a never ending cycle. So this never, this is going to be the same thing. That's going to happen. You have the humans the evolving, them, worshiping soul, um, all this junk that's been happening on this planet. And then of course like I said, the people that were on Kepler 22, they travel to Earth, yada yada yada. So it's like bringing all this shit back to the house. This is actually saying that like really like a lot of the humans from Earth, they really did not originate from Earth. They actually originated from Kepler 22. I could be wrong, but it's just something about this planet and Earth. They have a connection. These androids and these humans have a connection with both of these planets. And I feel that the source of like Kepler 22, which the core is a living alien being, is like, hey, I'm in charge of everything. And they were just like, you know what? We're gonna roll. You know what I'm saying? They were like, we're gonna roll. But it also, when the seventh child, mother's child, the serpent, when has fallen, which explains a lot of where you see the serpent um, bones and stuff like dinosaurs that was on the other side of the planet. And then, you have these little Easter eggs, and you're just like, that's interesting. And this is the reason why I come to like this theoretical conclusion is that this has been like off and on going on for like a millennia of this happening, because like how in the world you have like those snake, you know, dinosaur, you know, ancient bones on the other side of the planet, and then you have, you know, the same thing that happened when mother had to kill her child, and then it's right there in the tropic zone. So it's a lot of like mystery behind that, and it's a lot of explanation. And I guess, you know, if you're, you know, like being Scooby Doo gang with this shit and everything, you know, put the pieces together to this mystery. And so now you have this serpent that's in the tropical zone, and it's the same way over there on the other side of the planet too. And now we understand with all this frequencies, as like Sue said, this alien frequencies of, you know, of this planet, and it was the planet's core was talking to or communicating with these humans as well as mother and everything. And so with that, that's the reason why it has to have organic, you know, people really, you know, I guess what you could say, connect with those like on top of the surface. I think that's very interesting. Kind of reminds me of Ego, off of the Guardians of the Galaxy too. You know, Kirk Russell was Ego, and he was like a whole ass planet. You know, if y'all like ever read, you know, the comics of the Guardians of the Galaxy, any Marvel multiverse comics, you know, back in the day, you know, there was like planets, and then of course, you know, if you read X-Men, especially with the Dark Phoenix, of how Dark Phoenix, you know, came in control with Jean Grey, is that the Dark Phoenix was actually like this kind of like this matter, like this star, like a celestial, you know, type being, but just like out in space. And then, you know, of course, when the whole situation that happened in outer space, that's where, you know, the Dark Phoenix was like, oh, look at Jean Grey. This is the most powerful, you know, person that's on planet Earth that has all these telekinesis and psychic, you know, psychic and, you know, psytronic and all that shit. You know, it what I mean, she could have had possessed Professor X, but she chose Jean because Jean powers was just so great that even Jean just didn't even like understood the magnitude of her powers. And and it just like reminds me of like something like that, you know, especially with Kepler 22. And it is, it's just a lot of like mystery of like this core. It's like the planet is alive, but it's like I can't come out because I'm the core of the planet. But you know, I need living things. I need all this to connect. And so, I mean, it's the same thing, like, you know, in Greek mythology, you know, Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, connects to all beings, you know, on the planet, you know, the animals, the trees, you name it, people. It always have been in not only in human history, but also in mythology, a lot of cultures of like, even like me myself, like, you know, how I look at things like we're all connected to this planet. Even if you put your hand on the ground and walk the earth, you know, barefoot and everything after a rainstorm or on the beach, you feel very grounded, you feel very connected, you know, to the earth, and you just like, oh, like that. But it has flipped on this planet. It's more like the planet needs to be connected to the people, while we like connect to the earth and all of the nature and the surroundings. The planet Kepler 22 is like, I need people to connect. It's like that. I mean, geez, it is. It's a, I mean, how weird you think the show is. I mean, it is science fiction, it is action, or how you feel of how strange this is, because it's mixing a lot of a lot of things that we see with like different religions of you know, people that are atheists. You have like, we don't have androids, but I know we have robots, and people are trying to humanize AI. With the technology that we're advancing in. It's a lot of things that is so much like in this show, that even if you take out the science fiction part of it and just like set it in real time reality, you'd be like, oh, it's just like how we're doing and everything. But it's a show. It's really, I mean, I find it to be a very unique show. It really is very unique. It is strange. It is definitely not for the faint of heart, or people who just don't even have imagination or whatever. I mean, you really, literally have to uh, really be in a big, big, big science fiction fan. Like I always say, even though I do horror, science fiction is about right there with horror, because you do have uh, things in horror in science fiction, and just because it has science right in front of it doesn't mean it can be horror. I mean, think about it like all the science fiction films where you have people, in space, or, have suits on, and, they're in the great vast beyond of space, and there's no air, and a whole bunch of junk, and oh my god, I mean, like, I'll be in pins and needles and junk like that. I mean, even when you in in a ship and you're flying in space, it's like asteroids coming, oh shit, boom boom boom, you're dead. I mean, even you have Event Horizon. I love Event Horizon. um it is part of like HP Lovecraftian, type story. Uh, I like the cosmic horror of like Event Horizon. Of course, that movie always have like some mixed reviews about it, but I really enjoy Event Horizon. But like this one right here actually takes the cake. Raised by Wolves, because you just have so many stories from like Greek mythology to like biblical, some real, life, type shit, what we, see and face and deal, what's going on right now. And I'm just like, huh, that's pretty cool. And then, it's sometimes they kind of miss the mark with some things and everything, but I really do like Raised by Wolves. And I can't wait for the, season 3 to come out. It I cannot wait to see the nuck and the buck between grandmother and mother. I mean, they finna fucking throw down. They finna fucking nuck and buck. And it's gonna be super ass ugly. And then it also, with season 3, we're gonna see how Campion feels about Mother, since she has put on the veil. A lot of things. Also with the scribe, that Vero has like left for Campion. He has that on this little piece of parchment. Looks like paper. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. How the Egyptians use it to write shit down back in the day and stuff. Maybe this is like a scroll or something. This is like the first scrolls. So this is like really, really, this is really interesting. Um, how they just left like, uh, these Easter eggs just to open up for season three. And then, of course, like how father feels about grandmother. I mean, shit. I don't know, like a little home biscuit and everything. I mean, he's already uh scared of mother, and then you got grandmother. Just, I mean, is he gonna go through the same thing just like what Lamnia did with her child, her serpent child? I mean, because he did bring her back to life, but is he gonna face those type of dilemmas just like mother did with her child? Shit, we're gonna see about it. I don't feel like this I don't feel that it wasn't lackluster. The season finale was lackluster. I do feel like it did do a I would say like for it like this season finale, I will give it like at least like a good 7.9. I'm not gonna sit there and just say like, oh, it's like excellent because it really did they brought it on, and there was a couple of scenes I was like, ooh, I can't wait till like season three. Um, they might they might they might, with Sue being gone, and then something's going on with Marcus. I mean, what is with Paul? This is like really, it actually complicates things with Paul now. Wow, I feel bad for Paul. I really do. Um, with the serpent, what mother did to serpent and everything. I really didn't even feel like no type of connection. And I guess because I'm just like operating on like the veil, like how she felt. But I don't know. I really didn't feel like sad because she had to kill it. It's just, I don't know. It was like, it's not because it's not human or whatever. I just did not see a, like she does have a real connection, but I just didn't see like for me to be like, oh, I'm so sad. But I don't know, but I felt very sad about Viral um, death. I really did. I mean, yeah, she had some faults too. Of those shit, she was taking them out like damn predator and everything. But in a way, like how Campion seen who she really was, I felt that for Campion, and I was just like, you know what, it makes sense the reason why Campion loved her, and he's seen everything, past of what she did. Even her face was all tore up from the floor up, and she had that damn thing over her face to cover up, what happened to her. He still cared about her. And I was like, man, that's the sweetest ass shit ever. And he's seen beyond just her just being a program, her, being a replica of the real Viral. Um, would you think that he would have, like, if he ever met the real one, because, she passed away, like, do you think he would like have the same type of feelings for the human one as well as the android one? I'm kind of thinking he wouldn't because he's been raised around androids. and I don't think he like I don't think he can like have like a real human connection, other than with Paul and the others. But like for like love, for the sake of love, like fall in love with a girl or a woman or whatever. Um, he's basically I feel that he's basically the you know his creator, the one that created and reprogrammed, well, really reprogrammed Mother. I feel that Campion Sturgis, when he was on Earth, he did put a lot of himself into this Campion and everything. And so that's pretty interesting right there. It's an interesting show. But that's enough of my time. Um, Check it out. It's on HBO Max. Season finale of Raised by Wolves. And thank you for listening to the Random Horror Show. And y'all have a great St. Patrick's Day and have a good night.